Hello, I'm Dan Marr from the law firm of Hamlin Kerrigan in Nashua, New Hampshire. I've been practicing law here in New Hampshire for approximately 36 years, and in Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, I've been practicing and licensed there as well for about 28 years. I'm going to be talking today about holiday parties and how that can affect your work. You can have a situation where this time of year there can be holiday parties, there can be Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it may be, or just social gatherings that are together, and they don't have to be in the workplace for your conduct that happens in those parties to affect your workplace. If you go to a party, say one of your coworkers, and you end up over imbibing, you drink too much, or maybe you do some drugs, and you then decide at that time to finally open up your heart and share with this coworker that you love her or love him, and you espouse your love or your attraction to them, and they don't feel the same way, you can affect your workplace. It is not, you're an employee at will. What people think about is I've heard this a lot because I represent a lot of management in these cases over the years. Employees think that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and that the same thing is the argument for what happens outside the workplace. Say, I'm not working, you can't do anything about this. Yes, they can. If it's going to affect their workplace, the boss may very well have some issues with you and having one of you leave the company if it's going to affect your workplace. If it affects the synergy, certainly it may affect your ability to move up to a supervisor level or up the chain if you make that judgment call where you decide to want to have a relationship with somebody. And certainly if you're going to move up the supervisor chain and you do get a relationship, you have a successful relationship with a coworker, and then that person is going to be a subordinate of yours, you're going to have problems with getting that supervisory relationship because most bosses are not going to want to have a supervisor with a subordinate, one subordinate being somebody they're in intimate relations with, and the other employees that are subordinates thinking, well, wait a minute, that person may be getting preferential treatment. So in that situation, you might be affecting your career path. Certainly if you do something boorish in a party that's completely away from work, that affects your relationship with coworkers, yes, the boss can fire you. And you don't have any rights there. We're an employer will state, which means you can get fired with or without cause and with or without notice unless you have a union contract. And then with the employer will doctrine, there's statutes, of course, where you can't be fired because you're of your gender or your religion or the protected classes. But being a jerk is not a protected class. And I've said that, argued that a lot in the past 36 years. Being a jerk is not a protected class. So if you're a jerk and you do something wrong and it's outside of the workplace and it affects your workplace, your relationship with fellow workers, yes, you can be fired for that. So you should be very careful about that. Think carefully about your relationships. Think about also alcohol consumption. There's no good that comes from you over indulging yourself with liquor. So don't do that. You're going to, frankly, be a better worker. Your alcohol is a depressant. I strongly recommend you don't over-imbibe in regards to that in the workplace or in work-related parties. Anybody that's in a party that has fellow workers there. Also, outside of the workplace, if you're not even dealing with a fellow worker, but you do something really stupid, like you drive drunk and you hit somebody and you hurt somebody, that's got nothing to do with your job. But yes, the boss can fire you for that. You don't have some protection for being a jerk. And if you did something irresponsible like that, the boss may fire you. They may fire you just for the pure reality that you can't get to work anymore, but they also may fire you because they don't like the criminal act that you did. So be careful about that. Understand that even though it's not related to work, yes, you can be fired for those things. So if you have questions in regards to this, particularly management, I do a lot of the management side, including the human resource people and owners of companies. If you have questions as to what you can do about a employee that does act inappropriately outside of the workplace, you can contact me at Hamlin Kerrigan at 603-883-5501. That's Dan Marr, 603-883-5501. I've been doing these representing employers for many, many years. I do represent executives in their employment relationship, of course, obviously, when I don't represent the employer. but I generally don't represent the employees that are doing these bad things, and that's because you shouldn't be doing these. So do not get drunk at parties. Do not anything related to work related. Understand that if you do something really stupid outside of work, even if it's not related to workers, yes, the boss can fire you. Again, Dan Marr at 603-883-5501. Check out our website too at NashvilleLaw, all one word.com. That's nashvillelaw.com. And it's got a lot of useful vlogs. These my radio show that I've done since March until March of 2023, weekly, and I've done these vlogs weekly. So look forward to working with you if the opportunity arises. Thank you.